Hello, this is Matthew Chan, and I want to welcome you to episode 0 of the ELI Factor. And I have with me my co-host, Robert Krasankis. Now, you guys are probably wondering, what the heck does episode 0 mean? And episode 0 is really our way of acknowledging the core audience of the ELI community, for those who have been following ELI for years, and sort of my way of talking to you, addressing the issues of why the ELI video updates have come to a halt and what we're doing going forward with the ELI Factor. Now, when Oscar and I started the ELI 4 years ago, they really started out as telephone interviews. There were informational resources we put out to the general public, and they were just audio only at the time. It wasn't until 2009 Oscar came by in Atlanta and we connected it in person for the very first time, and then we decided to do some live videos. Now, following the 2009 videos, we attempted to do some, obviously, updates, and so hence I would call any other news items that we would produce as ELI video updates. But as many of you know, if you've followed some of our later ELI video updates, our ELI video updates really aren't updates anymore of the core material that we talked about. We have gone so far off track of the core mission of what the ELI video updates, but at the time I didn't know what else to call it. It was just I just kept on calling it an ELI video update. And so as I thought about it more, I felt that we were becoming more of a show. I mean, we're having a good time. We have Robert on the show nowadays. We have Jerry Witt. We have Oscar. So there's all kinds of characters coming in here, and we certainly don't do just updates. So another thing that I want to make sure I disclose to all of you is that, and some of you already know this, that as of 2012, ELI has to be a self-sustaining entity. This is not a charity service. You know, we don't have to get filthy rich, but it has to be self-sustaining. And the way I think is, in order to make things happen and to get some benefit for my business and Oscar's business and so forth, we have to evolve how we do things. And the show format will allow us to, allow us to accept advertising money for people that want to sponsor an episode, for example, or sponsor a month or whatever. And I mean, obviously we're not actively soliciting, but as the viewership grows, there's going to be room for people who want to advertise and on the show, and I will be accepting that. And of course, all of us, obvious, like Robert, he earns like this exorbitant salary and these benefits. So, by having a show format, we can also reward those who help us out on ELI by mentioning their businesses and so forth. Now, but I don't want to scare any of you.
I don't get you mean I'm not getting a percentage?
Probably not. So, so the show format really allows us to, take things in a whole different direction. Now, there's also something else that I feel is important. As much as I believe in doing the show and entertain, I also believe that I should educate. And ELI is all about education. I mean, that's what we always tell people: get educated on the issues. And one of the things that a lot of you may not know is there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that happens that make ELI does what it does. And for the very first time ever that I will be talking live on video, this is not going to be like a seminar, but I will release little nuggets of why ELI works. And of course, there's certain things that don't work, and we're always experimenting, and I'm going to be excited about talking about that. Now, another thing that I want to share with all of you is the fact that ELI has obviously expanded beyond just the Getty Images issue. We're talking about copyright extortions in general, and we're going beyond stock photos. So more and more as we have gone forward, the forums have grown. The subject matter we cover is much larger. Even our community members are participating in ways that are an offshoot of ELI, which we'll get into in the future. So anyhow, I hope this episode 0 gives you sort of a grounding. I didn't want to take up all this time on the very first episode to explain this mundane stuff. It's for the purists. It's for the hardcore community members. And like I said, this is all a work in progress. We are in, I guess for a lack of a better term, when we go with episode 1, we will be in season 1. And we'll probably at least commit to a half a dozen episodes and see where we're at. And we're going to adjust and tweak, and that's just the way it goes down. Anybody who works with me knows that I don't have everything figured out, but I don't let a small detail as actually not having a plan stop me. So, Robert, anyway, so when I was telling you about my ideas about the ELI Factor and the show format, what was your reactions?
I think it's a good idea because Eli is growing, and you mentioned a couple things, that you wanted to address in the show, which you didn't just mention, and, one of them that I thought was really cool is the community involvement, with having the possibility of having the community, be able to maybe stream these shows and have the community be able to interact with us as we do it, whether it's questions or commentary. I think that is a cool feature. We got a great community.
Right.
But, we really only communicate through a keyboard. Right. So I think this is going to add a whole other dimension, to Eli.
Okay. Well, let me, now that you brought that up, I totally forgot about that angle. Yes, we will be doing some live streaming. Again, we're figuring this out as we go. And live streaming may be like, we choose an evening, where we're going to say like, maybe a Tuesday night at around 8 o'clock, we're going to have a live stream. We're going to do a live broadcast, and people who want to join us, we expect that it's going to be a small audience at the beginning, but, probably be our hardcore members, but you guys can type comments to us via Twitter. And so if Robert and I are on the show, you can ask questions, make comments, or whatever. And we will read them live into the episode. So yes, it will be very exciting to have the community involvement. Now, aside from the doing the live casting, you should know that eventually these episodes will be syndicated, and it will be show up on as a podcast on iTunes and all that. And it's a project that I started last year called Tempest Broadcasting, and I laid the groundwork for that. So I'm excited about getting our shows onto iTunes, and so people can download it to their iPods and whatnot. Take it on the road. You can take the ELI Factor on the road, which you can't really do right now. The other part is that the software we're using is capable. Right now you see Robert and I side by side. Well, we potentially can have 12 people on a given episode. So you'll see a whole bunch of 12 little windows potentially. So one of these days we may have a Eli Community Fest and get Oscar and a couple other people. As it were. Yeah, exactly. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. But thanks, Robert. But anyway, back to you, Robert. What were you saying before I cut you off? About the reactions, your reaction to the ELI Factor.
No, I think it's a good idea. I think it's time because, like you said, the updates really weren't updates. They're just, really just, going back and forth. So, we'll take it to a new level and, in a little different direction.
Okay. Very good. All right. Well, anyway, thank you for joining us on the episode 0 on the ELI Factor, and I wanted the opportunity to share with you where we are going with this. There are no promises this will go forever, but certainly we're going to have at least a mini season of a handful of episodes. And if it becomes fun and for everybody involved and everyone's excited, we'll keep plowing on. And if not, we'll just go back to what we were doing before. But I'm all for change and expanding things and shaking things up. So thanks for joining Robert and I and listening in onto our little episode 0. And I encourage all of you to join us on the season premiere of the series premiere of the ELI Factor, and we're going to jump right on in, and I promise you we're going to get loud and rowdy. Thank you.